You know, I'm going to give you a history lesson.
We got some dumbass motherfuckers floating around this country.
Stop laughing! And when I do, start.
Also, y'all did some nasty-ass jokes on my ass, too.
Funny jokes and unfunny jokes come out of the same birth.
You f***ing guys are unbelievable.
Why are you laughing?
Evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Why Are You Laughing, a history of comedy podcast. And today, I am pleased to introduce to you Norm Macdonald, Ridiculous. This is an album by Norm Macdonald from 2006, put out by Comedy Central Records. Honestly, when I saw 2006, that struck me as... I was surprised by that because I thought it was earlier, just because this is something that wasn't happening at the time. And probably the reason that Norm Macdonald is the guy that was able to put this out in 2006 is I don't know if a lot of people would have mastered this anymore. It seems like it's from a time that had gone by. Like in a previous episode, we attempted to talk about Adam Sandler's They're All Gonna Laugh at You. Check out the Peter Schickley episode if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Classic.
But like They're All Gonna Laugh at You is a classic album from the 90s where they did skits. It was no stand-up really. It was all like audio skits like this. But in the CD era, that kind of started to die a little bit. And then really when, iPods and stuff took over, that was completely gone. But Norm really mastered it. And I think what this album is an example of more than anything is that it's amazing that Norm, that I can think of, never had his own sketch show, like his version of the Dana Carvey show or any of those guys that they tried to spin out. Even Michael Che has one now, or had one on HBO, where you take guys from SNL and you're like, all right, maybe they can create their own sketch world. I think what this album is an example of is Norm's would have been better than anybody's. Like I can listen to this now, and again, it feels like something from it is something from a past era that doesn't really exist anymore. You don't see comedians putting stuff out like this, yet I can listen to it in 2024 and still laugh as hard as I would have, almost 20 years ago when it came out. So this is our yearly salute to Norm. On every episode we try in some capacity to pay tribute to the great Norm Macdonald, my favorite comedian of all time. But also every year around the anniversary of his death, which I think this kind of lines up with whenever it comes out for free. We'll see. But that's the other thing. Whenever you do a Norm episode, it's sad. Like, he was 61, I think, when he died. But we still probably had 10 good years of Norm being hilarious, if not more. So that's what these episodes make you think about. But I hope you guys enjoy it as we get into it here. And also go to blindmike.net if you would be so kind, where you can support this show. If you wanted these episodes like a month and a half ago, the people on Patreon and our YouTube members, they're laughing at you because they're like, guys, this is old news. We knew about Norm Macdonald Ridiculous a month ago. Sure, you could say we knew about it 20 years ago, but a month ago is when we really found out. And that's because we are members and we get early access to content as well as all the bonus stuff that we post. So consider becoming a member, or just support the show for free wherever you get podcasts, Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, or any other platform. But particularly YouTube is where everyone's finding podcasts. So if you like, comment, subscribe, tap the bell, all that good stuff. It helps more people that like similar stuff to you find Why You Laughing. And you can do the same with the Blind Mike Project. Who are these socials? All the links are at blindmike.net, so check all of those things out. You can find Craig's links at verygoodshow.org, hackradthedemon.com. Support all the boys, all the members of the Blind Mike Project here. We appreciate it. We appreciate your guys' support. All right, let's get into it. So you were, based on our brief pre-show discussion, you were a fan of this album when it came out, I assume.
Yeah, it has been a while since I've revisited it. I almost forgot about it.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I think most people forget about it. Like when you think of Norm, I mean, obviously, the shame of it is Norm didn't put out more stand-up,
right?
Because when you look at the fact that we only have Hitler's Dog and me doing stand-up, the amount of stuff that he could have put out, and it's why I don't like when stuff comes out posthumously because you never know if the artist would have wanted it out there. But you do see on like YouTube every once in a while, Norm live in Vegas in 2017 or something like that. Like someone just recorded the set and puts it up on YouTube. And it does give you a little more Norm, because when you look at the amount of stuff that this guy talked about and covered, it is amazing the depth of the well that he was able to get into. And it's a shame that he was boxed in by kind of traditional means, like he did a couple of sitcoms. Even when they gave him like his own opportunity, like Norm Macdonald's sports show, which I thought was a good show and probably should have been on the air longer. But that's them thinking in a box again, where it's like, oh, Norm did Weekend Update. What if he did Weekend Update just for sports? We'll give him a half-hour show, basically. What this album shows is that, and like Norm always talked about how he wasn't a sketch guy. What this shows is he was just being bashful, because clearly he was a brilliant sketch guy. There's a ton of hilarious stuff on here. And it's why it's a shame that the peak, not the peak, but the bulk of Norm's career wasn't in the internet area, where creators could do, like we see what Gillis might be the best example now, where he made Gillian Keeves all by himself. He made Tires by himself and got Netflix to buy it. Norm being able to do that, if that was really available to him in the 90s, would have been something special, I think. But let's get into ridiculous, shall we? Where are we starting?
The Fantastic Four.
So this is how I found it, and I quote this all the time because I think this is just such a hilarious premise. It's a little Seinfeld-y in nature, in the sense of the observational angle of it. You're taking just a very obscure, like, oh yeah, why is that? Why is that called that? Why is that way? And turning it into a hilarious sketch. So this is the naming of the Fantastic Four.
Okay, I was up all last night, and I think I've come up with a great name for the group. Since we all have such fantastic powers, I think we should be called the Fantastic Four.
Ooh, fantastic.
All right.
That sounds good.
I like that.
Yeah, and I have come up with individual names as well, if I may. Ben Grimm, you are a rock-like thing of a man. You will be called the Thing.
Great.
Sue Storm, you're a woman who has the power to make herself invisible. The Invisible Woman is your name from now on.
Good.
Johnny Storm, you are human, and yet you are a torch.
Yeah.
The Human Torch.
The Human Torch. Okay.
And I, Reed Richards, can stretch my body like a rubber band. I will be Mr. Fantastic. Okay, let's get on.
Hold on, pause real quick. I said it's Seinfeldy, but even there you hear there's a Norm twist on it, like when he puts it so bluntly.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the bit he has in his stand-up where he talks about the word identification. And he goes, it seems like D is doing most of the heavy lifting, because I stands for I. And D stands for dentification. Like, the punchline 6 minutes before Norm gets there.
You're right.
And he's still able to hammer you with it and make it hilarious.
Dr. Doom has the entire world's plutonium supply. And,
excuse me for a second.
Yes, Ben.
Never mind.
What is it, Ben?
It's nothing.
Ben, we have to speak openly here.
Well, it's just about the names.
How do you like yours?
Can I just speak to, again, where Norm is brilliant in his writing and his delivery, where I think most sketches would rush to get the joke out.
Right.
And Norm loves, and you see it in those Conan bits that we've talked about, where like the moth joke is the classic example, where Norm gets laughs from just drawing everything out. So even if you know it's coming, that what's funny about it is the delivery, and the silences even are funny at times, where it's just like never mind. Like, like what's going on in his mind, and you're sympathizing with this character, and this is all happening in a dumb 4-minute sketch. Like, that's what I think Norm was great at, is drawing those things out. I've said this about Gilbert Gottfried too, where just drawing shit out and hammering it over and over again and still making you laugh is very impressive, because typically in comedy, or almost always in comedy, there's diminishing returns. Once you know what's coming, you're not going to laugh as hard. But Norm's able to suck as many laughs out of every joke as he can.
That it just seems a little. Well, I'm kind of a thing of a man. You're calling me the thing.
Uh-huh.
Sue is a woman who can become invisible. She's the invisible woman.
Makes sense.
Johnny is human, yet a torch. So he's the human torch, right?
Sure.
And you can stretch your arms like a rubber band.
Uh-huh.
And you've named yourself Mr. Fantastic.
Yes, Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just seems a little odd, you know.
Yeah.
I don't understand the problem. I mean, we're all named after our powers.
Right. But your power is to stretch like a rubber band.
Right. That's why I come up with the idea, Mr. Fantastic. It's a fantastic ability I have.
Right. No one's saying it's not fantastic.
I mean, many people, when they see me stretch, they often use that word, fantastic.
I think what Ben's trying to say, Ben, right, is that we all have fantastic powers, but we're called what we do.
Right.
Yours is stretching.
Maybe Mr.
Stretch guy.
I was thinking stretch.
But that's my name.
Right. El Stretcho.
El Stretcho.
No, not El Stretcho. No, it's Mr. Fantastic is my name. Okay. Now, if you guys have problems with your names, we can talk about it. My name is Mr. Fantastic. Let's talk about Dr. Doom.
All these, we're not playing all of any track on this because they're all very long, but they're all like funny all the way throughout. And that's something he does very well on this too, where SNL sketches are known for just lasting so fucking long, where we got the joke. And that's where I talk about Norm's brilliance. Like with SNL sketches, it's like, all right, we got the joke. Now what are you doing with it? Norm is able to do that, to carry on a sketch like that, but still make it funny throughout where you're not tired of it. You know, like, we know, we got it, the name thing. You're still, because of the humor and interaction, there's a lot of like curb interaction in this dumb Fantastic Four sketch. It's almost like an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm that's happening with Mr. Fantastic being Larry David, you know?
It'll be perfect.
It is like, I think because of Norm's style, and he's got, you know, a very unique way of talking, and he tells a lot of edgier jokes, and he's a little more vulgar than these guys. You don't think of him in this class, but he is very like Seinfeldy, Woody Allen in just terms of his pure observation, where he has a lot of stuff where you're like, well, yeah, Jesus, that was right in front of me. Why wouldn't I have thought of that? That is bizarre that he's named Mr. Fantastic. The rest of them are all named after exactly what they are. And some of the voices you heard on there, Fred Stoller was the Human Torch. Steve Higgins, who is Fallon's announcer now, which some guys like have weird careers where, like, if you just know Steve Higgins from Fallon, you just think he's nothing in comedy. But like, by all accounts, he's one of the funniest guys ever on SNL. And he's all over this album. He's on a bunch of tracks, as we're about to hear, I think.
Tex Hooper.
Yes, so Tex Hooper is this is a 19-minute track. We have a couple clips from it. But basically, to fill you in here, you're going to hear another familiar voice, by the way, that I'm sure Craig will enjoy. But basically, to fill you in, it's kind of like a behind the music type thing that they're doing, where Norm with a Southern accent introduces this legendary Tex Hooper who has a drinking problem, and he's kind of down on his luck, and now he's making his big return to the recording studio. So we'll hear that play out here.
Empty bed, I'd stroke your chest hairs and laugh and put your jockey shorts on my head.
Something wrong, Brooks?
Oh, no, not that. I thought I just heard him say jockey shorts.
We would walk hand in hand. They're so in love, people said. Some folks thought you were my son, but now I sleep in an empty bed. You said our love would always last, And if it was legal, we would wed. You were my boy and I a man. Now I'm stuck in an empty bed. Empty bed where we would gently kiss and hold each other. Empty bed, I would reach around and lightly touch your mustache. Your wrestling trophies are all gone. Your riding mower ain't in the shed. Your beard trimmer's just a memory. A memory in an empty bed. So I'll never.
So Norm Macdonald and the great Artie Lang are playing the like sound engineers. And what's great about that is there's clearly no mistaking that this man is singing about him and a man, or possibly a young boy, based on how it sounds.
I thought it was like a father-son thing.
Well, there's like 6 more minutes of Norm and Artie being like, no, he's definitely talking about a lady. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about just dragging out. They make it so absurd where it's so clear that this man, he's a closeted gay man who's singing about his at that time, what would be frowned upon compulsions. And Norm and Artie the whole time are just going, nah, I don't think that's what it is. And this lasts 19 minutes.
Well, we got the next song here.
Oh, okay, good.
Wow, that was great, Tex.
No, thank you very much.
Bravo.
That was really great.
An instant hit. I've worked in this business a long time. Tex, fantastic.
No, thank you. That means a lot to me. That one came from the heart.
A man brought down by the love of a woman.
What woman?
The woman in the song, Tex.
Oh, yeah, in the song, sure.
What's next?
Well, next song I'd like to record, if you don't mind, is a song about the real heroes of America. The noble men who work with their backs, not doctoring or lawyering, or just plain regular folk who make this country great.
Well, that sounds like classic Tex Hooper, sir. What's it called?
Manhole Inspector.
Manhole Inspector. Fantastic. Manhole Inspector, Tex Hooper. Let's take one.
Don't want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or a tax collector. Just want to do the thing that I love, and that's a manhole inspector.
So they make it so obvious, and yet Norm plays very well. And I think there's a real talent in that, because I think there's a very fine line between this could easily be the hackiest bit you've ever heard. You know what I mean? Where it's like, we got it, he's gay. But Norm just has that ability. There's like an innocence and a charm to the way he writes and the way he delivers things that make you want to listen to the entire 19 minutes, even though you know where it's going.
Well, yeah, because it's more not like a gay joke. It's these two can't figure it out.
Right, exactly.
Next, women.
Okay, good. I think there's more from our buddy Tex.
So let me ask you a question there, Tex. How's your wife Madge doing anyways?
Well, she passed away last summer.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that, because I think of all those old songs that you dedicated to Madge, Girl in the Gingham Dress, I'm Falling in Love with You All Over Again. They were so beautiful.
Well, I got a new one that I dedicated to Madge.
Oh, that'd be great. What's that one called?
It's called I Stopped Living the Lie.
I stopped. Yeah, let's not record that one. I'll tell you what, do you have any songs on this list about women?
Sure, yeah, there's Love of a Woman.
Love of a Woman. What is that about?
About loving a woman.
Well, that's great.
Loving a woman. In a sexual
I'm excited now.
Yeah, it gets pretty randy, I have to admit.
Okay, good. Well, that sounds great. You're telling me that this song, then, is about sexually being in love with a woman.
Yeah, sure.
Fantastic. Let's put that down. That sounds great. Love of a woman. And listen,
Yeah.
Tex, feel free to go as long as you want on this. If you want to go 20, 30 minutes on this song, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, stretch it out.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
Okay, let's do it. Tex Hooper, Love of a Woman, take one.
There's nothing better than the love of a woman. And by woman, of course, I mean a man.
I sure.
There, Tex.
And you just love Artie and Norm going, okay, all right. That's you know what, this one's on me.
I like the whistling.
They do it. Oh, they do it so well, and it's not just sad to hear Norm here, but it's also sad to hear Artie, because the last time we heard from Artie Lang might have been when Norm died.
I think so.
Might be the last thing he put out and recorded. And he, as I always say, you can tell like just the life has left him. He's not the same guy. And when you hear this Artie, it just brings all that back. And it tells you, like, there's instances on here too, and I know it's just audio, but where you're like, oh shit, Artie was a good actor too. You know, like you forget he was in stuff like Crashing, and he was in Entourage. You know, a lot of like one-off episodes and stuff. Like, he genuinely was a good actor.
Beer League is one of my favorite movies.
There you go. Well, Dirty Work, obviously too.
Yeah. But next we have gambling.
Okay, well, so Norm is a compulsive gambler,
Mhm.
and he was able to put that in a recurring sketch that pops up a couple times on this album. He's in the play-by-play booth. It's him and Jim Lampley.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley along with Danny Wilson, and what a game we have for you today. The Jacksonville Jaguars play host to the New York Jets. And Danny, the Jaguars come into this game as big favorites, but will they live up to the hype?
Well, they are big favorites, Jim. No doubt about that. 9.5 points to be exact. Now, what that means is if a person bet the Jaguars on a parlay with, let's say, Cincinnati, who, as we know, won earlier today, that would pay that person 13-5. So if a person had bet, let's say, $127,000, that would pay off $457,200. That would cover any bad wagers that person would have made in the past. Why, it's like wiping the slate clean, Jim. That person would be even for the first time in his life.
So he plays this compulsive gambler color commentator, which is funny now because like it was prescient at the time because that's what sports broadcasting kind of has become. Like it's all
Right.
DraftKings ads and all. Like, now all they talk about is the spread and shit like that. So
Right.
it did kind of go in that direction, but it's very funny. And basically, this sketch, I think it takes up 4 different tracks. It might be every quarter of the game. And basically, you find out that Jim Lampley gave Mark Brunel the Hong Kong flu, which let's just say has Norm Macdonald on the edge of his seat throughout the broadcast. But it's very well done, and it's funny too because of the way he does it. It's a track that keeps popping up, so you think it's done, and then it pays off again later on the album, which is something like, like our children's generation will never like. That's just something no one will know, really. That's just a dead art form. The idea of like making a CD in that way,
Right.
that doesn't happen. I can't think of what the comparison would be because specials aren't really like that. Like you wouldn't make a comedy special like this. So it is very different, and it's a nice piece of Norm history because I think it's so unique.
Well, I mean, they used to be huge in the 90s. These, like the
For sure.
like,
Yeah, Sandler's was definitely the biggest, but yeah, there were a lot of these.
Right. Even like I almost lump in like Jerky Boys type stuff where it's kind of like
Yeah, comedy albums in general because there was no internet. Like this was the equivalent. People talk about how like comedy specials are dead because everyone puts one out. That's not really true. We just have newer, better media now. So people putting out a bunch of specials is the equivalent of back in the day. This is how you would get things out, is putting out albums.
Right. But next we have the first gay couple.
So this is another recurring one. So you have the Jim Lampley play-by-play that keeps popping up throughout the album. This, bizarrely enough, also keeps popping up. This is a more difficult to listen to, but a great premise. You will notice if you listen to enough of Norm's comedy, he's very focused on gays. He was intrigued by them for sure.
Terrific joke material,
But this is 2 guys that realized men could have sex. They just stumbled upon the idea.
All right, we're completely naked. Let's have sex. Well, go ahead.
Well, the thing is, I don't know what to do here. Oh, Fred, do you have a vagina? Do you have a vagina?
No, I don't.
Oh, well, let me think here. Who? Listen, Fred, I'm starting to feel ridiculous here. I think this is going nowhere.
Hey, listen, don't feel bad. Live and learn, I always say.
Yeah, let's chalk it up to experience, put our clothing back on, and resume watching the football game. You know, because it's times like these.
Hey, wait a minute. Do you?
Do I what?
Do you have a vagina?
Oh,
Is that
no.
Fred or Harry
no,
Carey?
I don't.
Well,
No, no vagina. So, I don't know. Maybe we should just. Whoa, hey, Fred, what's that?
What?
That, right over there.
Oh, this. This is my ass. What?
Oh, no. No. It's too crazy.
Well, come on. What is it?
It never worked.
Does it involve my ass?
Yeah, it does, sort of. Well, all right, I'll give it a shot. Come on over here. Bring your ass over.
Okay, here it is. Here's my ass.
Okay. Let me just try this here.
Okie dokie.
Hey, that feels great.
Oh, my God! Oh, dear Lord! Oh, God, Mother of all things holy!
I like it.
So this track ends, and then again, maybe 3 more times on the album, it pops up. It just starts with Will Ferrell. Spoiler, that was Will Ferrell, by the way. I was going to mention that in a second. But it just pops up Will Ferrell screaming again. And Norm going, hey, man, you want a sandwich or anything?
I like it.
I like it. It does, like I said, Norm's an observant guy, and it does seem more painful for one participant than the other. But yes, as Craig pointed out, the specific voice did seem to be Harry Carey, which artistically is an interesting choice by Will Ferrell. But yeah, that is Will Ferrell, which I was surprised to hear him on this album because I thought 2006, Will Ferrell was massive at that time.
So Will
That's
Ferrell
after Anchorman.
Yeah.
Like right before Step Brothers, so after Talladega Nights, I think.
Will Ferrell always kind of does that though. Like he did Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie when he was huge. And it
True,
was
yeah. He was in that. He's in a bunch of stuff that he made, like his production company made, and he has very small parts in it.
The Goods.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Actually,
Yeah.
But I was like, I wonder if Will and Norm were very good friends, or how that happened. I'd be curious to know how that happened. If they liked each other, if you specifically wanted Will Ferrell for that, which is a very, very funny casting.
I like to think of Norm pitching it to Will Ferrell.
Yeah, or just right place, right time. And credit to Will Ferrell for like at the height of his career being like, yeah, I'll do this. In total, probably 13-minute ass fucking joke. So credit to Will Ferrell for that.
But next we have 12 Days of Christmas.
So this is a brilliant observation, but that, by the way, The Office, I think, ripped off a couple of years later. But and again, like we said about when we did the Chris Rock special, I'm sure we've mentioned it on a bunch of different episodes, where that is the mark of great comedy when it's ripped off unknowingly to a certain point. When you're kind of the first person to make an observation like this, and then now I've heard a lot of people make this point. But this is Norm's observation on the 12 Days of Christmas.
On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 7 swans to swim and 6 geese a laying, 5 gold rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
Hi, honey. Honey, we have to talk. No, you're being very generous. It's just, no, I like the 5 gold rings. They were great. Nothing wrong with that gift at all. It's just that the next day, it was right back to the bird. Holy Lord! Get back! Oh, no. Well, I'll tell you what that noise was, honey. It turns out that geese and French hens are natural enemies. Now, no more birds. Well, I don't know, honey. How about 8 hats of hatting?
The character keeps asking for hats on every day of the... And they do it very smartly. They do every like third day instead of every single day, which is again Norm knowing like he does. He lives in stretching out jokes, but also knows when to shorten them. Like I think the SNL move would be to do every day of Christmas, whereas Norm was like, no, we can do the 4th, 7th, and 12th. People will get it, you know?
Right.
But a very smart observation and a lot. I'm not even saying they copied Norm intentionally. It's just I think if you went back in the lineage, that was one of the first. Like, why is there so many fucking birds? You know?
Right. Exactly. Next, we have Superman's identity.
So similar to the Fantastic Four bit. Again, I think of Seinfeld. I didn't realize Norm was so into superheroes, but similar to the Fantastic Four bit in the sense that he realized something, and this is again brilliant. So what this character uses the character of Stan Hooper, which was the star of one of his sitcoms, A Minute with Stan Hooper. And that character was a newspaper reporter. Well, evidently that newspaper reporter, Stan Hooper, moved on to the Daily Planet, where his co-worker, Clark Kent, he realizes is Superman. And it dawns on him that Superman has a secret identity, and no one knows who it is. So because no one knows who it is, why doesn't Stan Hooper pretend that he has a secret that he's hiding?
Superman punches the meteor with one mighty blow and sends it careening back into space. As he flies away, Stan Hooper stands cowering in a hallway.
Hooray for Superman!
And in a flash, Superman changes back into mild-mannered Clark Kent and enters the room.
What did I miss while I was on the phone?
Only the biggest story of the week, Kent.
Strange how whenever there's trouble, Clark, you always seem to be gone.
I know, Lois. I was on the phone.
Hey, guys, I'm back. Whew. I'm out of breath. Oh, my goodness. My fists hurt from that meteor. That is to say, phone.
Are you all right, Stan?
Sure, I'm fine. No reason to be suspicious. No reason at all to be suspicious. Hey, Lois, you look real nice in that thing you're wearing there.
All right, everybody, back to work. Kent, enough of your gold bricking.
Miss Lane, can I talk to you alone?
Sure, Jimmy.
Did you ever notice whenever Superman shows up, Clark's never around?
Come to think of it, Jimmy, you're right.
I'm not around either.
What's that, Stan?
Huh? No, I'm just saying I'm not around when the Superman shows up, right?
And your point is?
No point. I mean, it's just kind of weird. I leave, he shows up, whatever. You look good.
Again, so brilliant. Like the idea that, yes, someone at that paper would realize, oh, shit, no one knows who this guy is. He has a secret identity. Why don't I just pretend it's my secret identity?
Superman's biggest thing to hide him is glasses.
Well, that bit has been pointed. Well, that's also what makes this bit great. Is like that's something that's been pointed out a million times. You'd think that would be the easy angle,
right?
Of like, wouldn't you just notice? Like, yeah, he's got glasses on. Like Hannibal Buress is a great bit about how at airport security they were looking at his ID and they made him take off his glasses. Oh no, you found me! He goes, what do you think that's gonna do? But yeah, that's like the standard Superman bit, and then the brilliance of Norm is able to twist that and say, well, what if some scumbag realized that he could fuck Lois Lane if he left the room the same time as Clark Kent every single time?
I just love that line. Yeah, I'm not here either. You look good.
Just a sleazeball. The brilliance of like playing the odds, where it's like they might think it's Clark Kent, but they also might think it's me. Who knows?
Exactly. Next, we got multiple personality.
Okay, so this is a therapist whose patient is played by the great Molly Shannon. Molly Shannon, another person who doesn't get enough. She is funny in everything she's in. Like, she was the perfect person to use for this, and it is impressive because it's a CD in 2006. It's impressive that Norm got all these people to participate. I'm trying to think of some other names that were on here. Tim Meadows was on. I'm missing a few big ones. Will Ferrell, obviously, being the biggest at the time. But yeah, Molly Shannon has multiple personality disorders, and one in particular stands out to this therapist.
What would you like to escape from, Leisha?
Oh, God, my pussy gets so wet just thinking about his beautiful balls and that cock. I want to play with his balls while my tongue is in his ass, and then I want to get fucked again. Does that make me bad? Does that make me a whore?
Well, do you feel it makes you bad, Leisha?
Hi, I'm Mandy. I'm 6 years old, you know.
Huh? What?
It's my birthday tomorrow. I want a pony.
You-
I want a pony for my birthday.
You're a child, huh? Well, listen, I don't think a pony's such a good idea here in the city, Mandy. Listen, I was talking to a girl before you. I got to talk to her again.
Mary wants to talk to you.
Huh?
Mary, the lady who works at the library.
Oh, yeah, I remember her from last week, huh? I don't like her. Tell her I'm not here.
Hello, doctor.
Oh, Mary. Mary, how are you? How are things down at the library?
Oh, I love it in the library.
Listen.
The library has order.
I got to
People
ask
are
you a
always so
question.
quiet in the library.
I know a girl, but I can't get a hold of her.
What?
From before, whose name I can't quite remember. She had like
Hey,
a...
Doc, what's up? I'm Bob.
Bob. Yeah, I remember you're a guy or
Hey,
something,
let me
right?
tell you something, Doc. You know, it's not easy being a guy
Damn,
nowadays.
what was her name?
I guess it's
It was
just
one of
not
them
politically
modern
correct to like
names.
watching a
Least-
football game,
something
downing a
like
six
that.
pack.
It was Leisha. It was Leisha. Hey, Bob, shut up for a second. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to get Leisha. You see her around?
Leisha?
Bring her over. I got to talk to her. We have some very
Hi,
important...
Doctor. I don't believe we've met. And Brenda.
Brenda.
I am filled with rage, Doctor.
Oh.
Rage against the whole cold machine of life.
It's again something like Gillian Keeves did very well. That was like lost for a long time. Like there's a period of time in the mid to late teens where people felt like comedy had to comment on something, which is often good and often funny if the people are smart and funny about it. But it often sucks as well. And what we lost for a period of time was just silly horse shit. And that's what I think something like Gillian Keeves brought back, but it's what Norm did so great. It's just some dumb thing. Like the therapist wants to fuck the sex addict. They're all the same person. It doesn't make any sense, but he wants to fuck one of the personalities. And it's just a funny sketch.
Next one is Hidden Track.
Oh, all right. So we're already at the end of the album. So this is when I first heard this, I thought to myself, oh, these bastards at Comedy Central forced Norm to put something on the album, and this is his way of playing along. And then I quickly realized I think Norm forced this onto the album. But you guys be the judge.
That is not playing.
So they wanted me to do the stand-up bit I used to do called Star Search and put it on the album. And I'm like, no, man, that bit's outdated. It's not even that funny. So they're like, we know. That's why we're making it a hidden track. So then I'm like, I don't follow. So they're like, it's a hidden track. We hide it so it can never be found and no one's the wiser. So I'm like, that's genius. It's perfect for my lame Star Search bit. Let's hide that fucker good.
So I don't know. We'll play the contents of it. You guys tell me. Did Comedy Central in 2006 demand that this would be on the album? Or does this seem like Norm fucking with everyone? Let's find out.
My favorite things on Star Search is the junior dancers. Those are my favorite, you know? I love those junior dancers because I like how Ed introduces them, you know? It's always like, hot property! Then they all come dancing. Too cute for you! The funny thing about the junior dancers is it's not like if they win, they're going to go on to become junior dancers. Like, there's no place in show business for that, you know? It's not like you're ever hanging out. Hey, honey, what do you want to do tonight? Go see a movie or something? Or maybe grab a beer down at the bar or something? Hey, I know a good thing. Hey, why don't we go to that new joint they got down on Main Street there? That's a good club. They got 6-year-olds dancing. Yeah, I understand Hot Property is going to be there tonight. They're good. Yeah, that's right, little children. Yeah.
He loves the name He says hot property like 15 times in this bit.
It is a fucking gross way to describe them.
But it's hilarious. Like for Norm to set that up, like you guys know the Suits, and they force these things, and they made me put this hidden track on the album. They said, Norm, we need your topical Ed McMahon Star Search bit. 10 years after it was on the air, or more maybe.
It fits.
If I had to guess, I would say that they probably asked Norm to put stand-up on here, and he didn't want to. And then when they fought him, he was like, well, here's what you get then. Which really is the greatness of Norm. If you guys have not checked out Norm Macdonald Ridiculous, I highly recommend you do. Every single thing in it held up, which is surprising. Like, because like I said, there's a lot of gay jokes, and even like the whole Tex Hooper bit, like the premise is that like gays aren't fully accepted in Hollywood yet. So these guys have to convince them to sing. But like that still holds up, even though it's kind of a dated thing. So that is the true brilliance of the great Norm Macdonald. Like I said, we try to wedge him into every episode possible, but every year we got to pay full tribute to the guys. So we'll find something next year. Maybe one of his specials. This year I was thinking maybe Norm Macdonald on Dennis Miller or Letterman or something. So we'll get to every nook and cranny of Norm that we can. But feel free to suggest what you think the next Norm episode should be, what you think the next episode in general should be. Leave it in the comments. Fire away at blindmike.net. Wherever you get podcasts, leave a 5-star review, like, subscribe, comment. All that stuff helps the algorithm, helps more people find the show. We appreciate it. And if you want bonus episodes as well as early access, like I said, you could have had this ages ago. Then you go to you subscribe at Patreon or YouTube, and blindmike.net is the easiest way to find all those links. Become a member for as little as $5 a month. We appreciate you guys' support. Go to verygoodshow.org. That's where Craig does Very Good Show and Rubbed Out. Are those still functioning?
I don't know when this is coming out, but at this current time live, we're taking a bit of a sabbatical.
Oh, well, go through the back catalog. It's all hot stuff.
It's all hot stuff.
They have hot property on.
Well, that's just not true.
And go to hackridethedemon.com, support Hackride. He helps out with the show as well. You can subscribe to his YouTube channel, DJ Electra, all that good stuff. Hackridethedemon.com, blindmike.net, verygoodshow.org. We appreciate you guys' support, and we will talk to you next time on Why Are You Laughing?
Zip it up and zip it out.